Hi, hello, this is Jules the Human here, and welcome to the Jules Matt Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Jules the Human, and every week we go out into the world and watch a little bit of anime, and then we come back here and talk about it. And today we're going to be talking about Kaguya-sama, Love is War, episode 5 through 8. And I am not going down this love journey alone. I'm here with my co-host, Matt Galley. Matt, how are you doing?
Doing better. Doing
Doing
better than
better?
last week. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, we
It's
can talk about it. Yeah, we just needed a break. I needed a break last week
sure.
from IRL stuff that couldn't have me like coming onto the show and doing the stuff like normal. And I just
Yeah.
wasn't feeling too great, but I took took a couple days of recuperation and I'm feeling a lot better. So,
Hooray.
thank you for being patient and understanding with me.
Hooray. And if you're watching this in the future on YouTube, nothing happened.
Nothing
Here's the next
happened.
episode. But yeah, I mean, it happens sometimes. It's totally cool. I mean, when shit hits the fan, I know about it. We know about it. We totally understand.
When it rains, it
So,
pours.
oh yeah. Oh, and it hailed like last week. So with
Literally.
my new car. Um, we're talking Kaguya-sama, Love is War, episode 5 through 8. If you want to watch along, we would love that because next week is the last time we're going to be talking about Kaguya-sama. We're going to finish the first season and then we're going to pick a new anime. So if you're new here, we go through different anime. We watch the first season, the first 12 episodes or whatever, and then we rate them over here on our board. And we're going to put Kaguya-sama to next week somewhere over here, and we're going to pick a new anime. So these are all the ones that we've put in. These are ones that are suggested by people that watch live on Twitch on Thursdays, well, usually on Thursdays. But these are user submitted. You can submit 500 bits and then put your anime on the board, or some of these are from me and Matt as well. So that's what's happening next week, and we're gonna finish Kaguya-sama already. We're gonna go through another anime. Um I love how fast we're going through all this. Like, I love just getting little tastes of
Yeah.
everything because, I mean, if you look at the list here, there's tons of different tastes. There is so many different things on there, and it's pretty cool. Some of the ground we've covered.
I like kind of being able to like kind of wrap things up, put it in a little neat bow, put it off to the side and like move off on to the next thing. When I've watched anime in the past, I've been like so hung up when one thing ends and I'm just like, but I want more. And I just like get hung up on that one thing that I experienced. But it's
Hmm.
like it's nice to just like, yeah, wrap things up and just on to the next thing.
And it's super different. All of them are super different, especially Kaguya-sama, because they
Definitely.
have a bunch of like three little vignettes. I think one of them had like four.
One
I
of
don't
them
know.
had four. Yeah.
One of them had four. There's like so much happening. I love these characters. So let's get into talking about episode 5 of Love is War. What happened in episode 5?
Episode 5 starts off with Kaguya wants to handle it, which sees a classmate coming to Kaguya seeking romantic advice. However, Chika gets involved as well to Kaguya's dismay. After that, we see Shirogane wants to show off. In this one, Shirogane wants to impress the class with his volleyball skills. However, he possesses none. Chika comes to the rescue to teach him all things volleyball from serving to receiving. Um, and then finally, we see Kaguya wants to be covered, in which there is, you could call it an umbrella standoff occurs after class one day. Each party not wanting to admit that they brought an umbrella to have the other, like, um, offer to stand under their umbrella.
Sure. And hilarity ensues, and balls are so fun, is something Chica said that I wrote down here. Um, Here's more of the same, right? Here's
Yeah.
more of what we've seen in the past 4 episodes. I'm bringing it up because it changes in the next episode because
Hmm.
we get introduced to a new character. But it's more of the same. It's more of the little slapstick comedy. I love the turn about it's Kaguya's turn to give relationship advice to the same couple, and it's really nice. And then Detective Chica comes out. I love Chica. She's so much fun. I love her.
I like how when it how it puts Kaguya in the same situation that like Shirogane was in with the same couple, like one of them's coming to them for romantic advice. Because it like you said, these are all individual like vignettes, but it is helping keep like somewhat of a structure as the show goes on.
Yeah, there's a passage of time.
Yeah.
It's like going and it's like
She
we have this.
Yeah, the girl that was seeking advice directly addressed how like things happened, and the things that happened were a result of Shirogane giving advice, because he said like just go up and like slam your hand into the wall,
Yeah.
and like that's what she was saying. She was like he was so upfront, and like
I
he
just
was
had to.
very emotional, and so I just said yes in the moment, but yada yada yada. And then Chica, like, she's doubtful of her feelings, but like Chica basically talks her into having feelings for this
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, pretty much. And then now, one of the lines was they're spreading peace and love, which is the ultimate revenge on society, which is a wild thing to say. I think Kaguya says that about them. But man, it's so much fun. I love this. I love um I don't know. I just love Kaguya just being to so many emotions. There's such a turn to her character that we see in Shirogane sometimes, but Kaguya just has these two demons fighting each
Mhm.
other, where she's the sweetest girl, and then something happens. She's like, "I hate you. I want to kill everything. I want to do everything." So it's so much fun to see the differences there. But who would have thought Shirogane bad at sports?
I
I'm
mean, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
The
makes
way
sense.
the show like explained it, it's like, he had does all these other things, so he's never really been involved with this stuff. And it's not that he's physically inept. He is just uncoordinated, completely uncoordinated.
Sure, and
And that was that line was so relatable to me. As like in middle school, I used to like run like all the time, like for just like for fun, like laps on the track and stuff like that. Yeah, I know, weird, right?
oh,
So
you were in track, right? Or like,
I was in track in
yeah.
like football and high school and stuff, but stepping into track and football, it required more coordination. So because I just kind of always just ran before, I had like stamina and speed and endurance, but like coordination zero. And when I realized how you need to like pay attention to how you move your feet around and like position your body when you're playing sports and stuff, it's like it's a lot. It's a lot to learn,
Yeah.
for sure.
Mhm. I learned all that in marching band because if you fuck up, you're fucking up like everybody pretty much, and you can see it. So similar, I think, but I really like how they're giving this main character flaws. I love
Hmm.
how they're giving these main characters flaws, and it's not because like, oh, they're not perfect, but it makes it more human and it makes it more relatable. And it's like really cool to see them showcase the bad with the good. So something in this show for sure is like they're showing like the full gamut of what these characters are and giving them stuff that we can work with. Like it's a cool storyline, but I'm sure later on his uncoordinatedness will come into play at some point, and it's like, "Oh, yeah, he's just really bad," or, like, they ask him to throw a ball or something later on, and he's just gonna be like, "I don't know," but now maybe he will because, Ch Chica raised that "See that boy? I'm the one who raised him."
That line was hilarious.
Oh, it's so
Caught me
good.
off guard. Um,
Chica spends 3 days training him in a training montage. And, balls are so fun. That's what I got from that.
the fruits of her labor pay off for sure. Um, he yeah, it's just really funny to see that side of him because he tries to have such confidence in all the situations that he's presented in, but here he's just completely flat out like, no, I need somebody to like help me. And it's
Mhm.
funny because the way Chica begins to train him, like she just does like an average serve, she gets the ball over the net, like she's just like, look, that's all you
Yeah.
got to do. It's just, and he's like, what? It
Yeah.
was textbook. And so
And yeah,
that
and he
part of it's
misses and all that.
hilarious for sure.
Yeah. But, he said he's yeah, like you said, he's just uncoordinated, but he does do 15-kilometer bike rides
Mhm.
every day,
Yeah.
which is, I think, if my math's right, That's kind of a long way. That's 15 kilometers. I don't know
Two
if I could do
ways,
that.
that's a lot. Yeah.
True. We go into the next little vignette. Plot twist. They both forget their umbrellas, quote unquote. But they both
But
have
X-ray
umbrellas
vision
there.
showed they both had umbrellas.
They do, as we can see right here. They both have umbrellas, and they just don't want to admit it.
Because they
And
because
again,
yeah, they both went for it too early. They both went for the, "Oh, I forgot my umbrella." So now it's like, "Oh, who's gonna admit it?" Or are they both just gonna walk and get wet?
it shows in this episode, or in this little spot, it shows again that Kaguya is preparing so much. She over prepares huge for this whole thing. And we've seen that before in the past episodes, how she's done this with the little ticket underneath the table and all
That's
this
right.
other stuff.
Yep, yep.
Like she prepares so much to try to get him to love her. Is it because of her upbringing? Like, it's so weird, like, because we see her way more prepared than Shirogane, and her trying, like, she just wants the love, but she doesn't know how to, and she doesn't want to give the power away because she's the almighty heir of whatever.
At some point in these 4 episodes, it references how, like, there was a long point of time where they were just not friendly with each other.
Hmm.
Like, she was like, "Stop looking at me." And he was like, "What? You were looking at me first." Like, "So what do you mean?" Um, so for a long time, they were just, like, completely dismissive of each other, and then it was that, like, first episode where we see the kind of the ice break for them, I think.
Sure. Yeah,
So, I think
actually.
they are still trying to understand whether or not they like, how they like, they're still getting to terms with the fact that they've, like, fallen in love for the other person, and that's why their pride won't allow themselves to admit it.
I mean, yeah, they're both virgins or whatever they said in the last episode. So I'm assuming this is the first time they're encountering love, or everything they've alluded to, they've never had somebody they cared for like that before. So
Mhm.
this is interesting, an interesting look into it. And Chica
Just
changes
comes along, "Oh,
everything.
here's an umbrella."
Yeah, Chica changes everything as usual. The perfect comedy foil. We love it. Love Chica. So that's how that one ends. Kaguya almost had a victory, didn't.
Almost.
I'm not keeping track. I don't
I'm
know. Maybe
yeah.
there'll be a end of season thing where it's like who's the tally? Like who
Yeah,
got the
who's in the
tally for the
lead?
most wins over here? But give me give me an insight on episode 6. What happened in episode 6 of Kaguya-sama Love is War? Because this one changes everything, I think.
Yes. So we meet Yu Ishigami in the vignette. Yu Ishigami wants to live. In which after we meet him, we discover that he has an overwhelming fear that Kaguya wants to unalive him. And it gets into the situation in which like, why she is kind of a little bit might be a little aggressive towards him at times.
Hmm.
After that, we see Chika Fujiwara wants to test you, having Chika run questions past the student council in an attempt to reveal their inner subconscious secrets. Um, and then after that, we see Kaguya wants to be noticed. Um, this one has Kaguya's assistant help her with a makeover in an attempt to get Shirogane's attention.
Um, so so we meet Yu Ishigami, who's the
Ishigami.
treasurer. Um, and also
He's
shout
trying
out to
his best,
Claire.
it
I
seems.
They said I liked that their relationship progresses. It's rare in a show. True. Because usually it's like a time standstill where things just kind of happen, but
In a
now we're
vacuum.
actually like on a little timeline that's going, and you can see them getting closer. I think it's pretty apparent.
Mhm.
um Yu Ishigami, who's the random fourth member of the student council that we didn't know about until now. He's a first year who's handpicked by Shirogane, and the first thing that we see from him is that he wants to resign because Shinobiya wants to kill him, I think. So he thinks all this stuff about Kaguya, about how she's trained in combat and
And he thinks that because like he was basically gonna spill the beans like that about her crush, and when
sure,
she like pulled him over the couch, like, "Don't you say a thing." Um, and he originally thought like that she wants to unalive him because he was cleaning the room and he found like the tickets under the
the
table.
ticket, yeah,
And so when Kaguya went to make like her play, her piece wasn't there for the play, and then she was like
you're
like
dead, you're
she
dead.
mod checked the room and she
Yeah,
was like, who would have found the tickets? And he's like over there holding them, I think. And so she immediately like, you better act like you never saw those tickets.
yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, I love this character. How do you feel about Ishigami coming into the
He's
fold because he's so different than the others
yeah.
and he brings something he's a character on his own. Like
Mhm.
he I would love to see just follow him and we follow him quite a bit in the next couple episodes.
Yeah.
But
I think he's a great character to add into the cast that we already have because, you know, the three of them, um, Chika, Shirogane, and Kaguya are kind of established as these like outgoing, like, you know, they're the faces of the student council, I guess you could say. And it
yeah.
makes sense that the treasurer would be somebody who is more of like a behind the scenes person, doesn't really interact, more just worries about the numbers and stuff. And so it's exactly the type of character that we would have playing that role, I feel like. So it's
Mhm.
a nice way of introducing a character like that because it makes sense in the context of the student council. But it's also great because we get a character that's not like the other ones that are already established, to have more like a greater breadth of situations that you can like play with because of his characteristics, which
And
we see, yeah,
we
happen.
see him like I love that they repeat it's not getting annoying yet, I'm gonna say. Because they repeat some stuff, they repeat some like little bits a little bit, like Kaguya getting super mad at Chika or like resenting her. And like that's not getting old yet. I still find that really funny. And the whole Ishigami wanting to off himself going like walking away from the school, like I still think that's super funny. Like I love that where he's just like, "Oh man, like we're gonna," and it's just him walking across the screen
Yeah,
because of
every
something because something happened, and he's just like, "Well,
every single
it's
episode we
over."
see him, it's been President, I want to kill myself. I'm going home.
And then he's like, "What? Don't do that."
and 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 Shirogane is just like, all right.
Yeah. Then he walks out.
Take your
It's
time,
so
bro.
yeah. I love their little relationship. I love
Yeah.
Shirogane and what's his name? Ishigami. So cool. Um, but we find out some information. Ishigami doesn't have any friends. What a wild concept to trust friends and stuff like that. So we're getting an introduction of him and his dynamic there, and then we get into psychology tests with Chica about kittens, but they mean something else. They mean so. This was just fun. This was a
Yeah.
fun little time.
It's very silly.
Um, and I wrote it down. I thought it would be. I love this show. I love the show because I knew it was coming before it happened. They mentioned that Shirogane has a sister twice in this, and I was like, we didn't know about it until now, and now y'all are bringing it up a lot. And I was like, okay, it's coming up. And then
Yeah.
like later on, we meet her sister. We meet his sister. I
Hmm.
was like, oh my god, this is so good. Like I love that they did that.
Hmm.
Um,
It's definitely the case of the shows following the you know, Chekhov's gun, where they've set stuff up and they have consistently followed up on it at some
yes,
point. They don't just leave you hanging when they say a line and you're just like, "Oh, I caught that," but
yeah.
it comes back. It
Hmm.
comes back, and it's really nice because yeah, again, it adds this like it adds that timeline into the show.
We see Kaguya being super prepared as always, and Hayasuka is the name of her assistant slash other student. I guess I caught that. She said her name, and I was like, oh yeah, let me remember their name. Ishigami says, "I want to die, so I'm going
Yeah.
home." Uh, and Ishigami compliments Chika's hair conditioner. Is it this one or in the next little vignette?
It's
Uh,
in the Kaguya wants to be noticed
okay,
in the
okay.
last one, yeah.
Yeah, where he's just like, "Oh, you changed your hair conditioner." Like, "What?
Yeah. He's
What are
like,
you
"Yeah,
on about?"
it's kind of stuffy in here today, and your hair is like 20% fruitier than it normally is." So I wouldn't have normally caught that otherwise, but yeah. And like he's just kind of talking without thinking, it seems, and
Yeah.
then yeah, everybody's just like pause, and Chica's the one that goes, that's kind of creepy,
Yeah.
and he
I was
goes,
like, "Oh, no.
"Oh, I'm creepy." President, I'm creepy.
I'm
I'm gonna
creepy."
go home.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, Kaguya only wants to be noticed. She changes her nails. She paints her nails because Hayasuka says that guys love nails
Mhm.
and loves to see them and all this stuff. And my heart literally broke when he she leaves. She's super sad he didn't notice. He rides up on his bike and he's right there. And I'm like, I was at the edge of my seat. I was like, "Please say it." He was like, no." And what did he say?
I can't remember.
He said, "I noticed your nails." He didn't compliment them. He said, like, "I noticed them," or something.
Mhm.
And then he just rode off. And I was like, "No,
Oh, 'cause he said
please."
that, and then her assistant showed up, and then he took off because he was, like, flustered that somebody else was kind of like, he might have
Yeah.
expanded on it, but, like, he's like, "Oh, somebody else. Nope, I'm outta here." And then she was like,
Yeah.
"Wait, no, finish what you were gonna say."
Man,
Yeah,
I that was the one time where I was like, "Just
that's right,
do the
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
please." That was like, it's so good. I didn't think I would, like, be rooting for these characters, but here I am. I didn't know.
I would say that I'm rooting for them.
Yeah. Claire says, "I feel like short sketch structures keep them focused, times so tight so that they must be thinking carefully about what they include."
Oh,
True.
yeah. And
Very
we
true.
we we've talked about that on the show before with like the anime that are structured with like smaller seasons that are only 12 episodes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How everything matters because they only have so much time to use for the whole show. And yeah, with something like this where you have a 22-minute block or whatever, where 1 minute of it's the opening, 1 minute of it is the closing, so you really only have 20 minutes to work with across three vignettes. So yeah, that's like they got to use their time. And
Mhm.
with comedy, there's a lot of comedic pauses and stuff too. Like there's a lot of shots that just kind of take their time.
Mhm.
So the dialogue has to be that much snappier.
Mhm. But it never feels rushed. I
No.
never feel like we're in a rush, kinda like well, I don't remember what it was. There was another anime that we watched where I was like, "Oh, Psycho-Pass," where I was like, "Oh my god, there's so much going on. I gotta pause. I gotta do this." But, like, this stuff, like, it flows, and it's so funny, and it's,
Yeah.
like, fun to watch, and we mentioned it before, but, the English voice acting is
Yeah.
so fun and so silly, like,
It seems like
um
they were all in the room with each other for
yeah.
recording, and it never feels like a line is delivered in a vacuum, where it's like just like what like everything
Mhm.
feels very, yeah, just woven together for sure.
And it's like I don't know, it doesn't feel stiff, like you're saying, it feels like they're in the same room, but they gave them I don't know, it feels like they gave them more liberty to
Ad
just
lib
have
or
fun
stuff
with it
stuff,
and
yeah.
ad lib and be silly or try new things because of the voices, like Chica especially. Chica, she did a whole rap last time.
Yeah.
Like, all that stuff is crazy, like, it's just so much fun. I found I enjoyed it a lot more rewatching it too, partly because the comedy leans heavily on the characters, yes. Um I I think I talked about it, but I watched the first episode like 4 times already at this point, and I'm totally okay with it. I'm fine with watching it over again. I could definitely watch this whole show over again. What happens in episode 7 here on the show Kaguya-sama
Mhm.
Love is War. Again, we are Jules Matt Anime Hour. You can submit 500 bits if you want to get an anime in the chest because we're picking a new one next week. So, episode 7.
Episode 7 kicks off with Shirogane wants to work, which sees a classmate coming back to Shirogane wanting more advice on how to hold hands with the person that he's dating. Um,
Yeah.
Chika and Kaguya get involved in the middle to kind of grant greater advice. After that, we see Kaguya wants him to join in, which sees Shirogane becoming the object of a tug of war between which club he should join, given the small amount of time on his hands. And before that, we see it's still getting used to his name, Ishigami, kind of discuss why he's not a part of any clubs and get a little in over his head, joking about archery. uh I don't even know how to phrase it. Joking about woman in the archery club.
Sure.
Kaguya wants to control it is the last vignette, which sees Chika finding Kaguya's funny bone, no pun intended, and trying her best to get Shirogane to find that funny bone as well. No pun intended. Wiener.
This was a lot. This was the one where I was like, really? Oh
that
my
one
God.
felt completely ad-libbed. If you told me, I would believe it. I would believe that in the booth they were like, hey, I'm gonna start saying a funny word, and you just be in character and think it's hilarious, and they just took it from there.
So Shirogane gives some advice, which is basically go find a job a bunch of times. Shirogane is confronted by the same guy he's been giving advice to because he needs more advice. And apparently Shirogane is the love expert of our generation, according to him. But he wants to hold her hand. He wants to hold the girl's hand.
Wants to hold her hand, but his palms get sweaty. So Shirogane's idea is you need to go get a job because more sweat from your brow, less sweat from your palms.
True.
Even Kaguya says, which is, oh, that's kind of,
yeah, he almost had me. He almost had me there up until the whole buying a boat, and going out and doing all this stuff. He's like,
I have my boating
20,000
license right
yen.
here.
Yeah, you gotta get the boating license. You gotta get this. You gotta get the boat, and then you could hold her hand, and then you could do all this stuff. And I was like, God damn it! And I was watching it with Kaylin, and I was like, Yep, I relate to that. I relate to my hands being sweaty sometimes. It happens, but we learn about there's something that went by really quick that I had to rewind. The ABCs of love, and here are the ABCs of love. If you missed it, A is kissing. B is petting. C indicates that you've got some D. Wild. I was like, what did he say? I was like, oh my God.
They put the little 18 thing over
the 18 thing. And that's why I had to rewind it because I was like, did he say that? Because they were like trying to cover it up a little bit. But C indicates that you got some D. And I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. Are you really in love if you don't have a boating license? Dang. You're right.
These are the questions
actually.
we need to be asking.
Damn, I gotta get out there. I gotta go get my boating license. Where do I find a boat? Shirogane is still a virgin. I don't know why I wrote that down. Get a job then. You gotta rent a cruiser. You gotta go find a job. He just kept repeating that.
Get a job.
Go find a job. Yeah.
It just keeps going back to and you'll be able to do that because of your job. Yeah, he started when it showed the clip of him like scraping his thumb against the table to like strike it like a match. I said it out loud. I was like, "Get a job," and then he said it, and I lost it.
Oh my God, it's so funny. It's so funny how like naive
the dramatizations of like the small things that they're doing always hit so hard.
Because I think the reason why it didn't hold for me for the manga because I only read the first one. I could keep going. I'll probably keep going because I have the first 3 is because it's all just situational. They're just talking. Like all of this stuff is just they're talking, they're moving the story along, but really it's the announcer voice, it's the cuts, it's the crazy, little things like this, like the all of the stuff we've already seen. All of this makes it so visually appealing that I'm like, oh, this is so cool. But they're literally just almost always in a room and they're just talking. So like all of this craziness that happens is so visually stimulating that they could just talk, they could just do whatever and I'm here for it. So I love the way it looks. I love the animation. It's so out there and it's so wild. I can never predict what's going to happen next. They okay, so I think it's Kaguya who says it. Shirogane. There is some pretty good advice though about holding hands, I guess, or you can put this into your own relationship or however. But somebody said you're supposed to be nervous.
Oh,
It makes
Chica
the
says this.
jest.
Yeah.
Chica says this. Okay, Chica, the love expert of our generation. You're supposed to be nervous. It makes the gesture more meaningful when it actually happens. Oh, because she was trying to, yeah, she takes over and it's
Hmm.
like, no, 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 this is how you do it. Like you're
Hmm.
supposed to be nervous. And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, yeah, that's very
That
true.
yes,
And that's something really
very
cool.
yes.
You're
Stan
supposed to be
Chica.
nervous. Stan Chica. We love Chica. We also learned
Chica
about
has not
the
done a single thing wrong throughout this entire show so far.
when she started talking about her dog's wiener.
We're gonna get into
Yeah.
that. So far.
Okay, so far. Because that's coming up. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
We learn about the two social pyramids at the school, the pyramid of family values and the club caste system,
Yes.
about joining clubs and things like that. Lou says Chica kind of sus. Chica is a little
Chica
sus
is a little sus.
in this episode for sure. Um, I never was. I was in band, but like I never was in any club. Did anybody were any of y'all watching live or Matt? Were y'all in like a club, like outside of I don't know, extracurricular, like
Not outside of athletics, I don't think.
yeah,
I mean, I was in like photography class, but it wasn't a club.
gotcha. No.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean,
Hmm,
yeah, I don't think so. Not in
hmm,
high school for sure. In middle school, I might have been in like there's like an after school program thing, and like I was in a like we did clubs and that, but like throughout high school, yeah, athletics kind of absorbed my life for sure.
gotcha.
You could consider it a club with how much time went into it, I guess. But yeah, I guess not.
Because there was people like part of like D&D club or like anime club or I don't know. Yearbook photography, but it was a class.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I
Because
was in yearbook too, but it was a class, not a club.
gotcha. I could be late and roam the halls. So they're cutting budget from the clubs in this episode. Happiness is priceless, and they've been hoarding it, which was directed at the athletics people, I guess, because what's his name? Ishigami does not want them to cut from budget from clubs, so he's telling explaining all this stuff, and we find out that Ishigami, as he's talking bad about women in archery, that he's just jealous of people with girlfriends. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, you don't got to be mean about it.
Hmm.
And then he says after
He was
that,
straight locker room talking with
sure.
Shirogane, and I was like, buddy, like just
That made me almost
stop.
turn on him. I was like,
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
kind of, don't do this, bud. And then he says, I'm going home to write my will.
yeah.
And then Shirogane says, please don't die. And then he just leaves.
But
Uh,
Chica does like kind of she takes newspaper and like strengthens it into a fan, and yeah, like beats him upside the head like
yeah,
a couple dozen times it
sure.
seems. Yeah, so
We
deserved.
Yeah, we find out a little bit as well, a little bit of backstory that Fujiwara was Kaguya's only friend since middle school, because everybody left. That they've had this strength bond, caring for each other since middle school. And that's something that we learn about them, and we gotta talk about the wiener in the room. There Fujiwara brings up her dog's wiener, how it tilts to the left, and then she just says dirty jokes and continues to say wiener and boobs. Um, and they said wiener a ton of times in this one, and it just gets Kaguya laughing so much.
She
It's
does it
uncontrollably.
because Kaguya can't stop giggling. So she's
Yeah,
just like she finds her funny bone and then just like like just keeps hitting it over and over again, basically. And then Shirogane pops up, and then Kaguya kind of tells her, don't even like try pulling that around him. And she's like, don't worry, I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah.
And so she begins her quest to try to get Shirogane to say wiener.
This was almost too much.
Almost.
Too silly. Almost too silly. They said can we get a wiener count? How many times she said wiener? It was a ton of times. She said wiener a bunch. And um yeah,
And
it was
then
almost too silly.
and then the phrase that ends up with Shirogane being like, what are you guys doing, perverts? I'm out of here. Because she says, what did she say? Oh yeah, she says, why are you being this way? I just wanted him to give me the wiener.
Yeah. And then yeah.
He didn't know what was going on,
Yeah.
so he takes that completely out of
Ishigami's like, what's
context.
going on
Yeah,
in there? But this was almost too silly, I guess, for me.
very silly.
Whatever. It's fine. It was super silly.
But
They're middle school kids or like high school or whatever. Um, so wiener and boobs make them laugh. I mean, it makes me laugh sometimes too.
8008 on a calculator. Hey guys,
Yeah.
look at this.
I've come up with.
Sorry.
Yeah. What was this from? Oh,
That was her
okay.
saying I just wanted him to.
Yeah, I just want yeah. So a bunch of wiener and stuff. This was almost too much. Chica's
It,
being a
it
little
did make
odd,
me
but
laugh, but I
yeah.
was laughing, like thinking, like, why, like this is ridiculous, but I'm
Mm,
laughing because it's these characters.
yeah. So let's get into episode 8 of Kaguya-sama Love is War. What happens in episode 8?
Episode 8 sees starting off with Kaguya wants her to say it, having Kaguya meet Shirogane's little sister and quickly develop a plan to become her best friend. However, Chika shows up to her dismay again.
Oh my god.
After that, we see Shirogane can't lose. This one kind of plays out a lot more. It's final exam season at the school, and we see this kind of like mental, psychological warfare bout play out between all the classmates. Shirogane ending up being on the top of the class with Kaguya in second. And this episode quickly transitions into Ishigami closes his eyes. Kaguya overhears that if Ishigami fails in his finals, he will be held back a year. And for various reasons that she explains to him, she tries her best to make sure that he is able to pass.
Yes.
Still to her dismay after passing.
For sure, for sure. Clara said before we started the recap of the next episode, I think it speaks to Fujiwara's lack of self-control when she's got a threat to pull. When she's got a thread to pull, she is going to keep pulling even if it ends in disaster. Yes, I think Chika is full of just like overindulgence a little bit. Maybe it does speak to her character for sure. Like it shows how she'll just keep pushing if she wants to. Because I don't think we've seen that. She's been super naive this whole time, but like her actually like pinning
Mhm.
pushing her friends funny, but like and us learning about how they've been connected since middle school was not a mistake there. Like this was intentional. Like, oh, they're really good friends, even though we've seen Kaguya be super mean to Chika in her head sometimes. So it is reestablishing that they are really true friends. So I think that was a good reminder there. But
That's a good point to make. That's a very good point to
who's
make.
even better friends? Kei Shirogane and Chika. So we see junior high treasurer Kei Shirogane. We've mentioned it before. They've mentioned it
Mhm.
before that Shirogane has a sister, and we meet Kei, and she has Shirogane's eyes, and she's really nice, and she's worried about her brother. She comes to school, and like all these little instances, they make sense, right? Like it wouldn't make sense that, well, in a devious way, Kaguya wants to be friends with Shirogane's sister and wants to be a
Yeah.
part of the family. It's like, oh, we'll come over
It
and
does
she'll
the
call
whole
me
the
big
narrator
sis.
does the bit where it's like, "This is another piece to the game, and, if she's able to sink this one, then, checkmate is guaranteed." Like, it
Yeah,
puts it all in the context of the love is war.
but it makes sense. And it's like, this is, yeah. And it's really, again, a tug of war on what's going to happen. And Kaguya pushes it to the end because she's gonna ultimately she wants to use his sister. She's like, I'm gonna use the hell out of her sister so that he has no choice but to admit that he's in love with me. And she's gonna call me big sis, and we're gonna be hanging out all the time, and I'm gonna go over for sleepovers and stuff like that, only to find out that Chika and Kay are best friends already. And
Mhm.
this was the funniest thing.
I lost it.
I
Yeah.
laughed so hard when they just are buddy buddy, and once again, Kaguya has a reason to hate Fujiwara because
And
Kei
they
calls
make
her
plans
big
right
sis.
there in front of her.
Yes. Oh my god.
But
It's
then Chika reels Kaguya back in by going, "Hey, Kaguya, do you wanna join us too?" And she's like,
yeah.
"Oh my god, yeah!"
Yeah,
Her
I
it
love you,
shows her,
Chika.
feet lift up off the couch and, slide over there.
Yes. This is so funny. I'm literally like I haven't I don't remember the last time I like actually laughed at an anime. I don't even know if I've laughed out loud to an anime.
I laugh a lot at Spy X Family.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that would be the most
Before
recent one.
that one, I
Not
don't
like
know.
this though.
Yeah, not like this, honestly. Spy
This
X
is
Family tugs more at my heartstrings than it nails my funny bone. This one just, yes, if this show is Chica in that wiener bit, I'm Kaguya, honestly. And it finds the things that makes me laugh, and then it just
yeah,
does it over and over and over, but in different ways that makes me laugh more and more and more.
because like comedy that they do hear a lot is the unexpected. And the most unexpected thing, at least for me at the in the moment, was that Fujiwara and Kei were
Are
already
already
friends.
friends, yeah.
And I was like, "Oh,
Because it's like it seems like, oh, if she doesn't know Kaguya, she's not she doesn't know the student council, she's new to the show, we
yeah,
haven't seen her interacting. Oh, they already know each other. Yeah.
it's so funny." But
Um
I like how do you like this new character that they introduced that they're probably gonna bring
I
in?
I like the way it gets handled here. Again, I like that Chika reels Kaguya back in, and I like that it then shows um what's her name? I didn't
Kei?
write her name down. Kay. It shows Kay and Shirogane at home where he mentions, "Oh, you were at the student council, blah blah blah," and she's like, "Oh yeah, I met everybody." And under her breath, she talks about how she felt intimidated by
Oh,
Kaguya,
Kaguya, yeah.
in a good way, where she was just nervous and had to
Like, I can't talk to her, like,
yeah.
she's just, like, so much.
Mhm.
Um,
But she doesn't like it yeah, she's so much, not in a bad way, it more seems like it's out of a place of respect, knowing that this is, the show has straight up called her a genius, Kaguya. It references Kaguya as a genius, so it just maybe show, that line of respect that, she just knows she's speaking to somebody, uh, with high esteem and regard, not only
sure.
in the family sense, because it talks about the caste systems of the school, in the family sense, but also in the academic sense.
Mhm. The one thing that I don't well, I guess I gotta get used to it, is in Kei Shirogane's, voice actress, the English voice actress, it felt like either they were somebody that's already in the show trying to do a different voice, or they were trying too hard to be a timid middle schooler, I guess, because it did feel like it was a little airy, a little high, a little breathy, and I was like, they're not really confident as much as we've seen the other characters be confident in the role, or it could just be that's the way the character is supposed to be portrayed as a timid girl, I guess. I don't know.
I didn't really think about it too much, why I wasn't, like, gelling with it, but the voice definitely, it felt like out of mix or something.
Sure.
I don't even know.
Yes.
It felt like it just wasn't supposed to be there. It felt like
Exactly.
it felt like somebody got, dubbed over the original, voice actor or something.
Sure.
definitely.
Yeah, I don't know what the circumstances are, but I knew as soon as I heard it, I was like, "Oh, this," like you said, everybody was in the same room. This felt like they were in the bathroom,
Yep.
and it was they were trying to record from the bathroom while everybody's over there, and it's like,
Yeah.
this doesn't feel weird. This is the first time where it felt weird, and it was that's why it was so jarring to me. Where I was
Hmm.
like, "Oh my god, this is odd."
But thankfully I did notice it, but I was just so like bought into wanting to see how the situation was going to play out that it didn't honestly distract me too much
No,
into
yeah,
going into it,
for sure,
going further. Yeah.
because I love it. I love this. I love
Yeah,
it's so
that
good.
took it out of me.
It's so good.
Yeah,
And then we go into Shirogane pulling 10 days of all-nighters to try and get final exam, and he gets first. And Shirogane is super hype about
yeah.
it.
And
It's
it talks
so
about like, how the narrator and oh, excuse me. The narrator in this bit um over and over and over and over again repeated the line, "He's lying. She's lying. He's lying," because they were all just lying about, what they're doing to get themselves through the final season because they
mhm.
don't want to reveal what they're actually doing to get through
Yep.
the final season, and they want everybody else to kind of like treat it not so serious
Yeah, it's like,
because
yeah,
like
we're
it's
just
it's then if they're not doing, serious, but I'm over here grinding away at my studies, like I'm going to have an even easier time getting at the top because there's nobody challenging me. And yeah, it shows like all of that play out, and it even explains how like Chica unfortunately has to deal with being between these two
yeah.
because she's an airhead that tries. Even though she is an airhead, she like genuinely tries to learn and wants to have good grades and stuff. So when she gets all of these like psychological like warfare bits coming from the both of them, she thinks they're being honest. She practices in those like ways, and she says, "All right, I'm not going to study at all." And then the narrator's like, "She's unfortunately telling the truth."
So good.
That was great.
Yeah. Claire says, "It surprised me how Shirogane casually gives bad advice to improve his chances of being on top of the exams. They justify it, but I'm surprised he'd sabotage someone else, especially friends."
My
y-
grade.
what?
My grade. That's all
Yeah.
he's thinking about.
Yeah. Um,
Number one.
yeah. Do you okay? So we learn a lot in about uh Shirogane in these 4 episodes, I guess, that he's uncoordinated. Um, but he still wanted to try and be the best at that. At
Because he
best
didn't
at
want
sports.
everybody else to think, "Oh my god, the student council president, he's not good at something that he's trying to do. Oh my
And
god."
connecting it to what Claire said, is it because he wants to really be the best, or is it because he's the president? Like,
The
I think
show I wrote this line for one of the screenshots. It's his way of being Kaguya's equal because he, unlike her, does not come from family lineage.
oh, because she even said in one of these episodes, she's like, "Oh yeah, you're poor, you have to work," and it's like, "Oh fuck,
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, buddy." But
It's
yeah,
his
like,
way of being her equal.
okay,
Because if he didn't have that over her, what does he have?
sure,
It
but I
ju like,
mean,
it shows the little thing of, like, her being on a staircase ascending away from him, like, she's out of his league if he can't even be number 1 in the class.
Shirogane, I feel you, man.
So, it's again, it's the way of the show presenting the love is war aspect, but he's being unreasonable about it to a certain degree. Even if he wasn't number one, if he was still doing the things that he did but wasn't achieving number one, would she not feel the way that she does about him?
Actually, I don't know because I don't know. We don't know because
If he did
I
all of
will
that the same exact way, but there's just somebody that was just a bit smarter than him, a bit like whatever.
I wanna say she would still love him. I wanna say Kaguya would still love him even though he didn't do all that stuff, even though he wasn't the president, he wasn't number 1, but do I know that for sure? I don't
Well,
know.
like let's say like he's the president, et cetera, everything. The only alternate being like he wasn't number one in the final exams. There's somebody else who got that one question right that he didn't get right.
Or does Kaguya like the challenge that he presents? Is that what it is too? That Kaguya likes to do that? I mean, we haven't really seen it a whole lot, so I don't know if we do, but or I don't know if she does.
She's in the one episode where she was giving advice to where she was giving advice to her classmate. She wanted her classmate to like mention things that she liked about her boyfriend, and she was like what about, and she started mentioning things about Shirogane, and the girl was like, well, those don't seem like very nice things. And she's like, well, they are like.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's got a type. She knows her type, I guess.
Sure.
Like
I don't
she
know.
she 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 knows all that. That's clear out of the way for her.
So
It makes me wonder if that one thing that he's holding to be like so important in his brain even matters in the grand scheme.
sure. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess, in the end next week. But we continue with final exams because Ishigami can't fail or he'll get held back, and Kaguya threatens Ishigami, confiscates his phone and blip bloop device. Um,
I'm
and
taking
she
your phone and your Nintendo. That's what I heard.
Kaguya doesn't judge people and really cares about others. We've seen her care so much about everybody. And even though she's malicious here, even though it is a little outlandish, I think she really cares
Like she
about
said,
him.
we could have done things the easy way.
Yeah. And it just furthers Ishigami's thoughts and ideas that she is a trained assassin
Yeah.
coming to kill him at some point. But okay, we're establishing these characters. I'm really liking them. That Shirogane has some flaws. That Kaguya cares so much but doesn't know how to show it. Is a little just because she's been sheltered most of her life. She's said that before, and she's shown it before because she's been kept in this little bubble for so long.
Mhm.
um and she doesn't really know how to show her caring and affection, and that's kind of what probably kickstarted this whole love is war thing, because I really do by the end that Shirogane is going to be the one to lose ultimately, just because I think he'll it's not that hmm, his resolve is less. Well, I don't know. He has, well, compared to Kaguya, I think his resolve is less than hers, because he would want to be like, because we saw him right up to her, right up to her, with gonna compliment her nails, man, and that was supposed to be the moment for me. So he is on the cusp of losing this love war, and I know it's there. So I really believe that Shirogane, and I really want him to, because I just want them to be happy together.
Yeah.
So I think Shirogane is going to be the one to ultimately lose this war. What do you think?
I think I agree. It's really hard to be able to tell at this point, but yeah, I think that in the I think with her like over planning everything with her expertise. Oh yeah, also the truckload of flowers.
The
That was a
truckload of
thing.
flowers is like, that's how much you love somebody. It's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. The show's not giving him a great case for for him winning the war for sure.
Sure. Claire says, I think it comes down to which one of them is willing to risk the other never confessing. Yeah, because it could just be like, this is unrequited love and we move on. I don't know how the show goes. I don't know how the show's going to end. This is again our first time watching it. And apparently there's 3 seasons. I don't know if it's going to go on to new people with Chica, or they're going to go into college, or whatever, or they just move on. And that would suck. I don't know. I don't know how cool, or I don't know. But I know for me, I wanted it to happen in episode like 6 already. Like already 6 or 7 episodes in, I'm like, please give it to me. I want them to be in love and to show their love. I mean, they are showing love, but more romantically. They're showing love by these games they're playing, but
Hmm.
it's not the love I want from them. It's not.
But then there wouldn't be a
Then
show.
there wouldn't be a show, and there would be no Chica or Detective Chica or Wieners. So,
Wiener.
oh man, I'm digging this episode, or this show. I'm digging these 4 episodes. Again, we are the Jules Matt Anime Hour. This is the first time you're watching, and we watch anime every week. And next week, we're going to be watching episode 9 through 12 of Kaguya-sama Love is War. I'm going to be talking about it and giving the show a rating. So it's going to be the end of the Kaguya-sama Love is War arc, and we're going to put it on this here. On the left are my picks of where I rank the anime we've already watched. On the right is where Matt has ranked the anime we've already watched. And we saw Polamaji, Madoka Magica, Black Clover, Zombieland Saga. We've seen a couple of them. And if you would like to suggest an anime for us to watch, these are all the ones in the anime chest of dreams that are user submitted. If you want to donate 500 bits, that goes to me and Matt, and you get to put an anime suggestion. If it's not like hentai or anything, we'll put it in the we'll put it in the chest, and it'll be eligible to be picked out for the next one. So next week, if you would like to watch along, episode 9 through 12 of Kaguya-sama Love is War, and we're gonna finish it together. And loved this interaction and stuff like that. So watch those episodes. Come back next week, and yeah, we'll rate it. We'll tell you where we put it on the board, and then we'll pick a new anime to watch. So it's kind of like an anime club where we watch everything together. Matt, when you're not words, what do you do?
When we're not talking about anime
Sure.
here, you can find me on my Twitch at Matt_Galley, or follow me on all my socials down here at it's Matt_Galley.
It's
When
right
we're
there.
not here talking about Chica talking about wieners, where can the people find you?
If it is hentai, we'll have Fujiwara deal with you using her fan. Okay, okay, for sure. She'll pop me a little bit. Um, you can find me here,
Shut up.
twitch.tv/JulesTheHuman, JulesTheHuman on YouTube, youtube.com/JulesTheHuman, JULES the human on all social media, JulesTheHuman.com, Google me, all that stuff. But this show, if you missed any of it, it'll be on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/JulesTheHuman. You can find these episodes all on my YouTube channel, so go subscribe. All the past ones, if you want to go back and watch the other ones that we've done, they're all like little color coded. Finally got it looking cool, so you can see which ones we've done and all that. But next week we are going to continue talking about Kaguya-sama Love is War, and Matt's going to be doing the Chica dance. Okay,
If this gets 100
woo,
likes on YouTube,
woo. Nobody likes on YouTube anymore.
exactly.
Okay. Somebody will do the Chica dance. Maybe it'll be you. Maybe it'll be me on TikTok. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll makes 100 at count 7, please. Please. I would love that. I just want to see Matt do the little thing. That's
Doot,
it.
doot, doot, doot.
See y'all next week.
Bye.